Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be revising the chapter of real numbers. As per the sample paper released by CBSE for the year 2021, we have 6 marks question expected from the chapter of real numbers. We have one question of 1 mark, one question of 2 marks, and one question of 3 marks. That means we have a wide variety of questions expected from this chapter. So just let us have a look at the questions that have been coming in the exams. As per the syllabus, we had Euclid's division lemma and its application, Euclid's division algorithm, the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, the proving of irrationality of numbers like root 2, etc., revisiting decimal expansion of rational numbers. Now, if you see, I have made the first two in red. Now, this is in red because due to the COVID, CBSE planned to delete these two topics from this chapter. So we will not be discussing Euclid's division lemma and its applications and the Euclid's division algorithm. We'll be focusing only on these three topics. Let us take up what are prime and composite numbers. Just revise them because there's one common mistake that you make. Prime numbers are the numbers with factors 1 and the number itself, whereas the composite numbers are the numbers with more than 2 factors. Now, remember a very important fact that 1 is neither prime nor composite. We come to a very important theorem, fundamental theorem of arithmetic, which we'll be using at number of places in the chapter. Every composite number can be expressed or factorized as a product of primes, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the prime factors occur. For example, if I take 6 is equal to 3 into 2 or 6 is equal to 2 into 3, we note that prime factors of 6 remain unique as 2 and 3. However, the order of writing them may vary. So this is an important theorem. The applications, let's find out. Let's take an example from your book. Find the HCF and LCM of 6, 72 and 120 using the prime factorization method. Now, I know how to do the prime factorization. 6 can be written as 2 into 3. 72 can be written as 8 into 9. That means 2 into 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. That means 2 cube into 3 square. 120 likewise can be written as 8 into 15. So 2 cube into 3 into 5. Now, when we're finding out the HCF, we take the common factors of all these three numbers and we take their least power. Remember, while finding out the HCF, we take the least power of the common factors and multiply them. So here, if you see, the common factors are 2 in all the cases and 3. And their smallest powers are 1. So I'll get the HCF of 6, 72 and 120 will be equal to 2 raised to the power of 1 into 3 raised to the power of 1, which is equal to 2 into 3, which is equal to 6. Let's find out the LCM. While finding out the LCM, we take all the factors and we take their highest power and we multiply them. So if you see the factors, in 6, 72 and 120, the factors are 2, 3 and 5. The highest power of 2 being 3, the highest power of 3 being 2, and the highest power of 5 being 1. So the LCM comes out to be 2 cube into 3 square into 5 raised to the power of 1, which is equal to 360. So remember, while finding out the HCF, I took the common factors and I multiplied them using their least power, the smallest power. When I'm finding out the LCM, I took all the factors and I took their greatest power. So for HCF, we take the smallest power. For LCM, we take the greatest power. Let us take one more example. So we need to find out the HCF and the LCM of 5 raised to the power of 5, x raised to the power of 3, and x raised to the power of 4 into y square into z cube. Now these are two monomials given to us. I need to find out their HCF. Remember, HCF is what? HCF is the product of the common factors with their least power. So the common factors of these two are what? They are x and y. So x and y are the common factors. Now what are their smallest power? Smallest power of x and y is x cube is here, x raised to the power of 4 is here. So the smallest power comes out to be x cube. I have y raised to the power of 5 and I have y raised to the power of 2. So the smaller power is y raised to the power of 2. So the HCF comes out to be the product of x cube and y square. So the HCF comes out to be x cube y square. Let us find out the LCM. To find out the LCM, I need the highest power of each factor and I'll then multiply them. So the factors are x, y, and z, and their highest power is x to the power of 4, x to the power of 3. Higher power is x to the power of 4, y raised to the power of 2, and y raised to the power of 5. Higher one is y raised to the power of 5, z cube, and here I have z raised to the power of 0, let's say. So the higher power is z cube. So the LCM comes out to be what? LCM comes out to be x4, y5, z cube. I'll multiply all of them and I get the LCM as z, x raised to the power of 4, y raised to the power of 5, and z raised to the power of 3. So I hope this concept is clear. When we are saying 1 mark question is expected, this might come for 1 mark. So these are the few things you need to keep in mind while finding out the HCF and the LCM. Just let's revise them. HCF of two numbers is the product of the smallest power of each common prime factor in the numbers. Likewise, LCM of two numbers is equal to the product of the greatest power of each prime factor involved in the numbers. Also, for any two positive integers a and b, I have a very important result. If I have two positive integers a and b, then the product of HCF and LCM is equal to the product of the two numbers. Ensure that when I'm having three numbers, this relationship does not hold. So I cannot say that if I have A, B, and C as three numbers, their HCF and LCM, their product will not be equal to the product of the three numbers. Now let's take up some questions from exercise 1.2. I have find the LCM and HCF of the following pairs of integers and verify that LCM into HCF is equal to product of the two numbers. So we'll find out the LCM, then we'll find out the HCF, and then we'll verify that LCM into HCF is equal to product of the two numbers. So let us take up one of the parts. I'm taking the first part. 26 and 91 are the two numbers. If I do the prime factorization of both of them, 26 can be written as 2 into 13. 91 can be written as 7 into 13. So common factor from these two is 13.
And its smallest power is 1.
I get the HCF as 13. Let us find out the LCM. LCM is the product of all the factors with their highest power. So the factors are 2, 13, and 7, and the highest power is 1. So I get the LCM equal to 2 into 7 into 13, which is equal to 182. Now let us verify the result. I need to verify that LCM into HCF is equal to product of the two numbers. I'll find them out by finding out the LHS and RHS separately. HCF into LCM comes out to be 13 into 182, which is equal to 2366. The product of the two numbers 26 into 91 also comes out to be 2366. So we can write that HCF into LCM is equal to product of the two numbers 26 and 91. So I hope this property is clear to you. Again, for a 2-mark question, this kind of a question can always be asked. Now again, this is one very important application of the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Check whether 6 raised to the power of n can end with the digit 0 for any natural number n. You have a solved example also given to you in your books to prove that 4 raised to the power of n can end with the 0. Just to check that, I'll write the for prime factorization of 6 raised to the power of n first. 6 raised to the power of n is equal to 2 into 3 raised to the power of n. The prime factorization is unique as stated by the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Please understand the usage of this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. I'll have to write by the uniqueness of fundamental theorem of arithmetic, this prime factorization is unique. Or I can just write the prime factorization is unique as stated by the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Now, because it is unique, that means I cannot have any other factor apart from 2 and 3. So for a number to end with the digit 0, it must be a multiple of 10, means it must have 2 and 5 as its factors. So this is not true because I cannot see any 5 over here. So I can say that thus for no natural number n, 6 raised to the power of n can end with the digit 0. So I hope this is clear. You might be asked a word problem also using HCF and LCM. Just try to see the word problem, read it once, and just contemplate that whether the answer of the question will be the number greater than the two numbers given to me, or it can be less than the two numbers given to me. If you think that your answer will be the number greater than the two numbers, that means you need to find out the LCM. But if you feel that the answer is less than the two numbers, then it's going to be the HCF of the two numbers. So that thing needs to be kept in mind to do up the word problems. So I'll take up the portion of the rational numbers in my next video. Hope you have understood whatever has been explained in this one. Thank you so much.